Well, I want to talk about the 3-year-olds, man. They've been racing pretty good. Certainly no complaints from me with respect to the 3-year-olds. You always think they could be a little bit better, and quite frankly, sometimes they can be a little bit better. But the horses we're racing right now have been racing great. Arrowhead Hanover. I love starting the list with this guy. He's one of my favorite horses to drive. He's a very, very good horse. A winner the other day in the slot. It was muddy, 54 flat. I thought the horse raced really, really well. Aunt Lily, I know she tried at 56, and other people said, followed speed, a little flat. What are your thoughts? My thoughts are simple. She's a 3-year-old trot filly. She will get better incrementally. I think we need to help her and get the flip-flops off her. That means we got to work on her feet a lot more. But we'll race her next week in that class and see how she does. That's my thoughts on Aunt Lily. Blue Ventura, Tyler's going to drive him on Monday. He's been racing great. It's pretty hard to complain about Blue Ventura. Got locked in the other day, but I'm sure he'll be fine on Monday. Captain Incredible will race here next week. Just such a nice horse. And, my father and I had a long discussion about him the other day because he doesn't really know him, other than we paid a lot of money for him. And he was asking me about him, what my thoughts were. I said, honestly, sun's out. I said, honestly, Dad, he could be one of the nicest horses we've ever had. He is an extremely fast horse. Where is his depth? Where is his work ethic? What kind of horse is he going to become? These are all questions that he's going to have to answer down the road. But I can tell you this, he's starting with an incredible amount of talent, and I'm eager to see how that plays out this summer. Chicago Hall, a little flat the other night, showed a little bit of tie-up. Jody had asked if we could race him without the hobbles. My initial response was absolutely, positively not. But we're going to race him in a non-winners of 2 next week. Now, the only reason I'll agree to it is because you can only win that non-winners of 2 once. And if something goes wrong and he makes a break or he's just no good, that's fine. We can always race that non-winners of 2 again. But I would say I'm not in love with the idea of no hobbles on Chicago Hall, but I will say that his hobbles have gone out an extraordinarily high amount over the last 3 weeks. 2 holes, then 3 holes, then 2 holes. Like quite a bit. A long, long, long hobble now. And Jody's no dummy. If he thinks that the horse can go without hobbles and he thinks he's a better horse for it, okay. I'm willing to play along for now. All we're risking is 1 start, really. Because he'll always be able to win the non-winners of 2 until he wins the non-winners of 2. Right? And if we do it now, we can put the hobbles back on him for the next stake race if we want to also. So I'll play along for now. I think next week we're going to race Chicago Hall without hobbles on. Foxy Seaside was incredibly good the other night. 2 moved her. Big Mile, 52 and a piece. They went 51. Again, we got to get the flip-flops off of her. Freedom Hill was very good. I thought she probably should have been a winner, but raced pretty good the other night at Northfield Park. Gaslight Hall raced great. Showed a trickle of blood. He's going on the LASIX program. So I'd have to believe he'd be better than he was the other night, even though he was very good the other night. So we'll see how Gaslight Hall does. I had the same conversation I had with Dominic and Jody, just asking his thoughts on Grassroots as opposed to Gold. And he was a little indifferent, but maybe thought that the horse deserved another shot at the Gold, especially considering he showed a little blood the other day in his scope. Gorgeous Package was good. I think she just needs consistent racing at that speed, and you'll see her start to come forward. Those horses, it's nice to think that those horses can just jump up and do what you need them to do right away, but that is not always, of course it kicked me out. That is not always the case in respect to Gorgeous Package. So we'll see how she does. What is wrong with this thing? Fill in password. Oh, I know what's wrong. Somebody was screwing around with that. Opened it under the... I see. Okay, all is well again. So it takes time to get them consistently at that level, right? It's one thing to stretch her out and go, say she went in 52. How she look the next week? You ask her to go in 52. That would be my question. How does she look the next week? So Gorgeous Package, we'll give her another run down there and see how she is. Grand Slam Dio, I didn't expect her to win in 56 in the pouring rain in the mud. I did not see that coming. But I did expect her to do very well, and I have been waiting for her to jump forward, take a good lifetime mark, and become the filly that we think... Wow, that's not true. The filly we hoped she was. That's going to be very difficult to achieve. The filly we were okay with is hopefully just down the road. We'll see how that plays out. Gymboree wasn't good the other night. I just kicked her out in the field. Just 2 weeks, leave her alone. She just felt weak, drawn out, was not what you needed her to do. Just uncomfortable. That's how she felt. So I kicked her out in the field. We'll see how she comes back. Manhattan Money will race next Sunday. I have to go to the Poconos next Saturday and Sunday. Saturday's Tim's filly. So definitely Sunday I have to be there for our horses. We'll see how that plays out, what needs to happen over the next, over the next week. That's why you have the ear things in.
I know, but I literally just plugged it in and it started doing
It's plugged in to the entertainment center, so you have to plug it into a different one. You can plug it into this one and give me that one, right? It's not stupid. You plugged it into you plugged it into the entertainment center and then got angry when it took over the entertainment. It's really not stupid. It's common sense. 1 + 1 = 2. Manhattan Money will be next Sunday at the Poconos. Memento Mori, I'm going to train him in about 7 minutes. I'll be on the track in 10. I'll be there in 7. I'm going to go a mile with him in about 2:05 in the race bike. Just want to see how he feels after his little trip down to the New York area and Plainridge. Never Lose Felix is in the sale on Monday. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. I've been talking about this for a while. He won his way out of that Nommers 1-2 class. I just think a smaller venue for him. And I know Northfield's not a gigantic venue, but I know that classic gets a little salty this time of year. So maybe just put him up for sale. See how it happens. Oh, he'll know. Trained good the other day. She's in to go on Wednesday. We'll see how big Nelly races, big hilly races. Resolve Indeed tonight, I believe. Grassroots? Or is that Monday? I think that's Monday. Might be Monday. Yeah, for sure it's Monday. Not going to be Grassroots on Saturday. They're chopped. Roseland Alexander also is wait now. I jumped over Roseland AJ. He's racing tonight in Cumberland, Maine. We sent him to Maine with Ryan Berry. Walter Case Jr. is going to do the driving. So I'll be very interested to see how that race goes, although he did draw the 8-hole. I jumped over him to get to Roseland Alexandra. She's in the sale on Monday for the same reason Felix is, for the same reason Mounds is. Just ahead, I'm looking for the easiest path forward. And all the paths for those horses at Northfield are not easy. They can do in them, but they're not easy. So I was just looking for what made the most sense, and putting them up for sale was my answer to that. Woodmere Betcha will be back in this week. She unfortunately made a break in a pretty big stake race the other day. Smitty just thought the track was bad and maybe pulled her hobbles up a hole. So we'll see how she races her next start. And that's it. That's it. I apologize. A little anticlimactic there. That is the last horse of the 3-year-old section. I'll be back later. I'm going to do the 2-year-olds for you guys when I come back in the opening. Bit of a slow week. Eager. Eager is the word of the day. I'm eager to see how the horses start to get ready to qualify. Our first baby schoolers were a couple of weeks ago. We did them and got them out of the way. I was happy with that. But our first traveling ones will be this week. 5 horses going to the Meadows to school on Tuesday. So with that, take care. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. I will talk to you all very soon.